In the third round of the most recent NFL draft, the Cincinnati Bengals decided to select Jermaine Burton, who's a very unique player. A lot of people really liked his tape, and I do think that under most circumstances, he's someone who would have been, drafted higher. Could have been a potential top 50 pick, or at least probably would have gone in the first 2 rounds. However, due to some, we'll just say character concerns. I believe I mentioned those when we did the podcast, but here, you can Google it if you want to. But I do think that hurt his draft stock, and I thought it'd be interesting to make a video talking about what potentially he could bring to the Cincinnati Bengals. Could he be, a T. Higgins replacement, perhaps, or at the very least, just, some T. Higgins insurance in case T. Higgins, prices himself out of what the Bengals can afford. Or if you're a Bengals fan, I'm sure you're hoping that he's great and you keep T. Higgins and have all three of those great receivers with Jamar Chase, of course. So let's get into the film and talk about what Burton can do. Let's start off with something like this, where you see the way this play is going to work. It's going to be a man coverage concept, and Burton is running a go route on the outside. That's what he's doing here. So, okay, these are the types of plays that you really want to be able to see a receiver win at. And to be honest, it's very rare that, guys who go in round 3 can win at these too often. And usually when they can, it's because they went to a smaller school where they're just able to run by not as good corners. And that's usually kind of the main way that you have outside threats still be available in round 3. But of course, for Burton, that's not what's happening. He played for Alabama, so he was going up against pretty good competition. Let's see what he does here. When this play begins, you're going to see that there was a lot of space that Texas A&M corner gave Burton, and it worked out because he's able to not give up a ton of separation here. However, this play is far from one if you are Texas A&M. The issue with this current situation is that for the corner, his back is completely turned towards the quarterback. And if you can't be able to look back towards the ball without, having to completely abandon where Burton is, it just puts you in a tough situation. Essentially, Burton can attract and to adjust the ball here, whereas the corner, if he's going to have to, he's basically going to have to guess and take a big gamble. So because of that, the corner does what he can, but Burton is able to adjust to the ball nicely. And that's what he's really able to do pretty well. I mean, that's what we've seen him be able to do. I think that with Burton, the criticisms and part of why he wasn't ever considered like a first-round talent is because there's some concerns about how effective will these moves work at the NFL level. This is a move that really worked at the college level, but is it going to work once you go up against better corners? We just don't know. Like, stuff like this is another example where it's going to be it's an outside type route, but this one a little bit different. He's not just running a go route here, but on a 3rd down and 12, this is still an incredibly important play, as he's going to eventually go towards the sideline. First things first, I do think you're going to see him show off some pretty good route running. Again, not really giving away what he's doing. You see that the Texas A&M corner is moving more towards the middle of the field, which is definitely credit to Burton here. And again, for Cincinnati, they have 2 outside receivers. They have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And while who knows if those guys are going to stay healthy for every single game just because injuries happen, but when they are both healthy, you do kind of wonder if maybe some, route running could be more important. But anyway, let's see what Burton is going to do from here. You see him have, pretty good footwork to cut towards the outside and definitely has given a little bit of a window right here. So far, so good for Jermaine Burton. Although, it is worth mentioning, it's not like this is wide open either. He still is going to have to be able to probably make a bit of a tough catch. But that is what he's able to do. Is, good throw, good catch, good route by Burton. Again, consistently being able to win on these types of plays. You can sit here and say, will this work at the NFL level? Well, you can say that with everybody. And there are moves that just do look legitimately really good. For example, this one, it's zone coverage. It's essentially going to turn into kind of a one-on-one matchup on the outside. The corner is giving up some space for sure. But again, Burton is someone you have to be wary of if he can beat you down the field. So when this play begins, you see that the ball is snapped, the quarterback throws it in that direction, and look at how far off that corner ends up being, because he was giving up so much space for Burton and trying to make sure he runs so aggressively towards the top of the screen that when Burton cut, there was just that much space. So again, kind of the threat of the downfield attack can really work, which means that if it can work at the NFL level, he'll be really awesome. But if it doesn't, maybe these moves aren't as effective. Here, though, Burton's able to make the grab. Good job by him. Good job by the quarterback as well. All that good stuff. So, again, these are really positive plays, I would say. Something like this, where it's just going to be a quick slant route. Again, you do see how far off that Texas A&M corner is playing. But still, when his play begins, really, smooth cut right there to kind of very quickly get over the middle. So for the Texas A&M corner, he's kind of just now realizing that, okay, I have to get in and make a play, but there's just a lot of space. This throw is made, and the Texas A&M secondary players might be taking a bit of a gamble right here because it is a 3rd and 9. They might be, have stepped in a little bit aggressively, hoping they could get a tackle short of the first down marker. We see now that's not really going to happen, but watch what Burton does. Watch him get around all of them. The contact does not bring him down, and he gets into the end zone for a touchdown on that play. So again, he can consistently make these types of plays, and if he's going to play out of the slot at times, which he's going to be asked to in Cincinnati, the fact that he can look really good in these plays is certainly promising. And again, there's stuff like this. It's a man coverage play. You see the route that he's going to run towards the end zone right here. When Burton starts this play, you're going to notice that, once you get to a certain point right here, there is a little bit of a window. This isn't, again, it's not wide open, but I think one of the other aspects of Burton that could be really good for Cincinnati and is something they look towards is they don't always need a wide open window. I mean, with, Burrow and Jamar Chase, how many times have we seen it where Jamar Chase isn't like, there's not a ton of separation, but Burrow just knows if I put the ball here, Chase is going to make the catch because he can make these kind of tough catches. You just got to give him a window. Well, here, that's kind of what happens, is that throw is, a little bit high, and Burton says, no problem, I'll make those catches. And I do think that that's something Cincinnati likes. Higgins can certainly make a contested catch as well. They look for guys who can make contested catches. Some people view it as a negative. Oh, you're just a contested catch guy. The Bengals certainly do not. So is Burton going to work at the NFL level? Again, remains to be seen. I don't know. And there's legitimate concerns that are kind of on tape as well that we talked about that are things that, more so not necessarily like flaws in his game, but like how strong are your strengths in his game is more of the discussion with him. And those are very reasonable things to bring up. But there's several things really working in his favor. For one, low expectations. Was drafted in the 3rd round, probably should have been drafted higher. I would have drafted him in the 2nd round. I would have. So there's that aspect. The other aspect is I just think he fits well with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he's going to do what they want him to do. And I think that he can potentially develop chemistry with Joe Burrow, like I mentioned, with the kind of, his ability to make contested catches can be really impressive and can be really impactful for the Bengals. You can understand why people might be a bit risk adverse with someone like Burton, right? Because if he doesn't work out, you've lit a pick on fire. And at the end of the day, if you draft an okay receiver in round 3, even if they're not a star, at least they're an okay receiver. At least they, are a contributor in some ways, which part of football is you need contributors. You need a bunch of guys who can come in and just give you some value, especially on cheap contracts like rookie deals. But at the same time, sometimes you need a really good player too. And if someone has the potential to be a really good player, it's often worth risking a 3rd round pick to make that work, and we'll see if it works with Burton. But those are kind of my thoughts on all of this. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.